Today we're going to talk about the 5 ways that you can know that you're likely to get fired from your job. So the first thing you should probably think about is look where your boss is looking. Is there some kind of a performance metric that you're supposed to meet? So for instance, the obvious one, like if you're in sales and you're not selling anything, that's probably going to be one of those red flags that would come up. But everybody's got a job that has metrics. So for instance, do you do customer service and do your customer service surveys come back poor? Or are you working on technical support or whatever it is? And there's some measurement that everybody's got on your team and your measurements are starting to look kind of bad. So I would say that'd be the first thing to look for. Don't try to do any tea leaf readings. Just make sure you look at the data, and that would be a good place to start to know if your job is in danger. So let's say your boss starts treating you a little bit differently, and you might think that, yeah, she or he is having a bad mood, but you notice that there's a trend where projects that you used to do have been reassigned to someone else, or your team is not getting the work that it used to. And there could have been a reason why, because maybe your boss has seen a mistake in the past, or you've made somebody angry on the team, and it's just not worth the risk of giving you more work to do. And so you might find yourself bored because your boss isn't giving you the work that you want. And that could be in the short term kind of a nice thing, but then realizing, wow, in the long term, I'm doomed. So check to see if the projects that you're getting assigned from your boss are any good. And you can do something about that, of course. If it's not going your way, you can talk to your boss and say, hey, I'd like some challenges. I'd like to work on something. And then if your boss has that difficult, awkward conversation to say, I don't trust you, then you've got a major red flag. So try to read the signs, but also be proactive and go talk to your boss to find out what that issue is about. So let's say you've noticed that your employees around you, your coworkers, are not really treating you like they used to. The conversations kind of die when you show up, or they just don't want to talk about what their plans are. You're being excluded. Obviously, somebody is more than just being a little bit socially awkward with you. They are noticing something. More than likely, if that is the case, there could be a problem that your boss has expressed openly, verbally to the rest of the team, and you didn't get to hear about it. So, for example, I remember once when I was with a boss, you made sure that you went out on Friday lunch with him, because if you didn't go, you were likely the conversation at the meeting. And so you want to make sure that if you find other people kind of treating you weird, get somebody on your side that you can talk to and say, hey, what's going on? Did the boss say something about me? Are you afraid of me? Do I have leprosy? What's going on? And so if you got that kind of a treatment and the other two have also been true, then maybe you've got yourself a red flag to say, yeah, it's time to go. I'm going to get fired. Now, here's one that's so obvious that it shouldn't even be a red flag. It's more like a red firework. But let's say you've been put on what they call a performance plan, maybe a PIP or an employee plan. The idea here is that you've got some major issues that you need to address, and if you don't, you've got yourself bad consequences. Like I say, that's not just a flag, that's a firework. And if you get one of those, don't even plan on sticking around for your job if you can make it through. Usually that's the last straw that human resources has decided your boss needs to do before you are terminated. So that's probably the time that you should have your resume out and you should be actively interviewing, because even if you make it through the 6 months or whatever they do on your plan, you're probably still going to be on a very shaky ground. So that would be more than a flag, yeah, right? That's the firework. So get out. Sometimes your personal performance is good, but the company's not. So if your team or their product or your company or your division is having some financial issues, you might be on the chopping block, even though you might be the best person in the entire corporation. So sometimes out of your control, you get laid off because just the quarter's not working. And so keep an eye on what your company performance is, because even if your boss likes you and you like everything about your work, it's not up to you. So keep an eye on where your market is, and if things are bad in your company, don't be afraid to look for something proactively. So that's a red flag, even though it doesn't require your own poor performance to happen. I'm curious, why did you watch this video? Do you feel like any of these things are true for you, or do you see other coworkers going through it? So tell me below. My name is Shad Sluder, and I'm a professor of software development and computer science at Grand Canyon University. If information like this is helpful to you, then make sure you subscribe, and we'll do one again next week. So see you soon.